Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome back to the Denver Bears franchise 100 games into season number 6. Our team has done pretty well. I mean, really well. We are the number 1 team in baseball right now. We have the number 1 pitching staff. Our hitting can be better, but we actually are doing pretty well. Our veterans are hitting the ball excellently so far this year. And the question mark is the young guys. What are they doing? Will Benson is struggling. Mohamed Willingham is struggling. Even C.J. Abrams has been struggling at the plate. But our pitching staff is getting it done. Nick Goody is having a down year, but everybody else is having a very good year. Atlas Luntich is coming out of the bullpen this year. Mike Soroka is having a good year. Trez Jenkins, .98 whip this season. Luis Severino also, 2.66 ERA. 1.06 whip. But how about D'Anthony Pierre? He has stepped up in some spot starts. He and Salucci have been splitting their starts this year. He's been doing well. Eugenio Suarez is also doing well, and he has the team leading home runs. He was in the home run derby. And Luis Arias is doing pretty good in his first year, 254 average, but he could be a little better. But I definitely welcome the defense that he's brought to second base. That was definitely something we struggled with. Now, into the trade deadline now. Last episode coming off of that, we did try to kind of hint at who we should go after. And I looked at Corey Seager for the Cubs, but they are 58-44. There's no reason in real life that would be a trade that would happen, because why would a first-place team potentially going for a World Series trade one of their best players? So then I focused my attention on the former Rocky, Ryan McMahon. He is excellent, and one thing about him earlier on in this franchise is that I just could not hit with him. Even in sim, he was not doing well at all, but now in kind of a reserve role where he doesn't play every day, hitting .295. So I want to deal for Ryan McMahon, bring him back to Denver. He has a $5.5 million deal, but we have done a good job of not spending a whole lot of money, so we can afford him. So I decided to throw in Tyson Garraway, who is an interesting young shortstop, and Lon Rivas. A lot of you guys did not like Lon Rivas when we acquired him. He is a very good pitcher, but it seems like he's just inconsistent. So we will make that trade. We will help the Rays out. They are actually definitely competing for an AL playoff spot, and they are on top of the AL East right now. We will see if they can get it there now with Lon Rivas, another relief pitcher that is a lefty that hopefully can help him out. So here we go. We will start out this game in this episode versus the Angels, who we finished last episode playing. But this time we play German Marquez, our former ace. And we'll see what Ryan McMahon does, facing his former teammate as he turns on this one inside. And you can just see the power. That one's going to stay in the yard. But I am looking forward to Ryan McMahon in the playoffs, really coming off of either the bench or just showing what he can do. He can play second or third or first base. So I like that versatility. And there's going to be times when I might play him at second, because Luis Arias is a guy that has been hot and cold sometimes, but he can hit the ball. But if I need kind of a power bat off of the bench, Ryan McMahon's going to be that guy we call. So here is Jesse Winker at the plate. He is hitting tremendously this year. That one gets over the left fielder's glove. He's hitting over .312 on the season, and he is going for that NL batting crown. Let's see if he can get that at the end of the season. Here's Mohamed Willingham at the plate. He goes to left center. That one gets down and will score Winker. Willingham is a guy I really want to get going here going into the playoffs, because remember last year he had a tremendous playoffs, but in the regular season for some reason he just does not show up. Here in the 7th inning now. Here is Ryan McMahon's third at bat as a Denver Bear. Remember, he was always a Rocky, never a Denver Bear. He flies out to center field, but we do end up winning this game 1-0 versus the Angels. Marquez 6-8 on the year. We tried to re-sign him to about a $5.5 million deal. He did not like that offer and decided to go to Los Angeles. But Mike Soroka picks up his 11th win of the season, only 2 losses as well. So here's what the end of the month of July looks like as we do take a look at Chris Stewart now, who we acquired in last episode. He's hitting .297 on the year. We haven't given him much playing time since we've acquired him, but he will start to hit a lot more because Rafael Marchand is hitting below 200. I thought about moving Marchand down just to get him some at-bats, but I'm going to keep him up here and platoon he and Chris Stewart. So here is Chris Stewart's first at-bat at home as a Denver Bear. That one is going to be ripped to left field. It will be a single, and Chris Stewart is going to be a guy that's going to have to contribute. I've been keeping my eyes on him, especially the last couple of years. He's been buried on the depth chart at catcher, so I decided to deal for him this year, and really just boost that catcher position. That's a position that we haven't been able to solve consistently. You know, I'd say the one position that we have really solved is pretty much shortstop. CJ Abrams has been tremendous there. Third base, we haven't had many problems the last 2 years due to Eugenio Suarez. And then first base is a position that we haven't really struggled at because when we don't have Muhammad Willingham, we have Jesse Winker there. We've had other guys in the past that have been playing there that have been really good. I mean, it's been a position that has been pretty solidified. But here is Chris Stewart in the ninth inning coming up. He gets his second hit of the game, but there is Suarez who gets tagged out. And we accidentally hit the wrong button there and retreated back to the base, but we do lose this game nonetheless, 8-5 versus the Cubs. We'll see if we face them once again in the playoffs this year. It is definitely a very likely outcome because the Cubs are very good, and we did not trade for Corey Seager. I'm glad we didn't, though. We want to keep this kind of realistic. But in the midst of that, Will Benson has been struggling. So we decide to call on a guy that we have been talking about probably the last 2 seasons. He was once a top 10 prospect in baseball. He still is top 50. We decide to call him up. Kale Helfrich. He is a very good hitter. He's a hitting machine. He can steal bases. He's unfazed. He can hit the ball with 2 strikes. And he will finally get the call. I definitely want to kind of make sure that right field is a position that I really solidify going into the playoffs. And giving Kale Helfrich a chance will really, really help us in the long run because he is a young guy. And then I would just want a better defensive guy out there because Will Benson sometimes is a liability in the lineup. So his debut at the MLB, at least in a starting role, will be at the San Francisco Giants at Oracle Park in San Francisco. Let's get this game underway. He gets a hanger right away. His first at-bat, driven deep. Will it get out? It stays in the yard. It hits off of the warning track over the left fielder's glove, and Helfrich, with 85 speed, makes it all the way to third. A leadoff triple that's very, very welcomed. We're trying him in this leadoff spot. This is where he hit at AAA, and that is going to be a nice start to his, I guess, career here in right field. I think that's where we're going to play him for the most part. I think he is a pure right fielder, as that brings up Ryan McMahon hitting in that 2 spot. And you can just see the power from McMahon. That one is caught at the wall. It will score Kale Helfrich. 1-0 here for the Denver Bears. Helfrich is going to be a guy that I am really going to lean on. We know how good of a player he is. We've watched him grow the last couple of years, but this guy is going to need to step up along with Helfrich. That is a home run. Muhammad Willingham, the guy who we drafted number 8 overall in season number 2, we kind of drafted him as the star of this squad, but he has just not lived up to the expectation. But I still really like Muhammad Willingham. He is a guy that I'm definitely going to keep around for the remainder of the series. Kale Helfrich comes up in the 9th inning this time for his last at-bat of the game. That one is gone. He has that unfazed quirk, and he is very, very good at hitting for average, and that's going to be very welcomed here. 2 for 5 in this game for Kale Helfrich. He goes deep. He doesn't have the elite power, but he makes solid contact every single time at the plate. It's going to be a treat to watch. I am excited for him. So now in the bottom of the 10th inning here with 2 outs, Jordan Hicks in for the save, and he will get it, as that is going to be a fly out. And we went on the road here in Kale Helfrich's starting debut at the MLB level. And I just love what we've built here. Our mix of young guys and old guys, this is the flexibility that we have. We can move up our prospects like Kale Helfrich to replace other older guys that may be struggling. Will Benson has been struggling, so Helfrich, he's going to start in right field this game as well. I'm going to make sure he gets the playing time he deserves because he is swinging a pretty hot bat. Winker is hitting .312 this year. I just want to note that he has a .410 on base percentage, over 1,000 OPS. He is having the best season probably of his career this year, and it comes at the right time because he is asking for a new contract. We will definitely get that to him and make sure he is re-signed, keeping him happy because he has been probably the guy that's put us over the top. Because remember, back in season number 3, we did not make the playoffs, but then we signed Winker in the offseason, and since then we have not missed the playoffs at all. Now facing the San Diego Padres in a close race in the NL West, this is Manny Machado who gets a hold of one. That is gone 1-0. Justin Maxwell is going to have to be a guy that steps up the last month or two of the season because remember, Maxwell was a guy that I was afraid to pitch in the playoffs last year because he just struggled, but hopefully he can get that right. Kale Helfrich at the plate, hitting .474 in his young at-bats here at the MLB. This one's hit to right center. That one gets to the gap. That's going to be a triple for Kale Helfrich. You know he's got the speed. He's going to score the runs. That's what he does. Leadoff triple here once again for the second time here in this episode. That brings up C.J. Abrams, hitting down at .244 this year. I'm thinking about moving him back down to number 8 in the lineup because that's when he hit best. When we put the pressure on him when he hits at the top of the lineup, I feel like he just doesn't hit as well. So I will be moving him back down towards the end of the year. That brings up Eugenio to the plate. He hits one hard to the left side, and that one does get past the shortstop, Tatis. And Tatis, for some reason, is hitting down in their lineup at like number 7. Muhammad Willingham at the plate, .235 average. He does walk as that brings up Marchand. Still hitting below 200, but I want to try to get that average up. Here he hits one to right field, and that one is caught. Dominic Smith playing in right field. That one will, Dominic Stewart is playing in right field, and that one will be run down. So we do decide to quick manage the rest of the game. Did I say Dominic Stewart? I meant DJ Stewart, man. I don't know why I'm messing everybody's name up lately. And we will actually go down in this game 7-2 going into the 7th inning. As you can just see, we do score one run there in the 6th. But 7-3 may be too much to overcome here, but we do give up a couple of runs. The Padres score one in the 8th, and then they try to score one here in the 9th, but don't get it across. And then we end up not scoring anything. 8-3 loss. And the Padres are a good team this year. To me, they're better than the Dodgers, so we'll see what happens in the playoffs. But they are both at the top of the wild card chase, both the Padres and the Dodgers. We do lead the division still, but it is a very close race with this loss. Now, fortunately, we do end up beating them 2 out of 3. Then we move on to Arizona, sweep the Diamondbacks. They have struggled. And then we beat the Cubs 2 out of 3 to end the season. Then we beat the Dodgers 1 game at the end of the month of August going into September as we face them in a 3-game set. But you can just see the month of September. We kind of have an up and down schedule here. Texas and Atlanta and San Francisco, that's an easier series. Then we play the Phillies, Atlanta, and Nationals twice. So those 2 series will be pretty tough. Those National series, they are a very good hitting team, so we want to make sure that we kind of beat the teams that are competing for the best record in the NL as we end the season next episode. Now, Will Benson was struggling this year, and I just need to move him down. Even at 88 overall, he's just not doing well. I don't know what it is, but he's just not a good sim player. 88, A potential at this point now, but he's just not hitting the ball. Hitting 206, so I'm hoping that moving him down to AAA will get his bat hot before the playoffs, because once we get to September call-ups in 2 days, I want to make sure that he's good when we do put him on the playoff roster. He will be on the playoff roster based on his defense alone. So that will do it here in this episode. We will round out season number 6 in the regular season and get to the playoffs right away. Hit subscribe, hit that like button. The Bears hopefully will close out the NL West next episode, so stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Boy, all that like Keenan. Still got crack, they fiendin'. Flow still hot like Phoenix. Shine so bright, I'm gleaming. This off top, I'm tweaking. Fresh out the rat like Neiman. And I'm still tryna fight my demons. Cause we all gotta act like Tina. That's why I gotta ride with the Nina. Outside, it's a war.